Page 312, 5-7, subtract expressions. Number 4, subtract. I'm going to choose to do these in my notebook where I have more space to write them out. This is the first expression. It just has one term, and we're subtracting this whole expression from this. We actually did this one in class, so I'm just going to do the algebraic way to do it. I'm going to change this sign to an addition because I would prefer to do addition. And I'm going to put a negative sign in front of the whole expression that's inside these parentheses. And what that will do, that negative sign or that subtraction sign changes every single sign on every single term that is in here. It changes it to its opposite. So as I said in class, you can imagine an invisible 1 there if you want to. A negative 1 times a negative 16 would give me a positive 16. And a negative 1 times, let's see, yeah, times 7 is going to give me a negative 7x. The other way I could choose to think about that is by not changing or putting the little 1 there. I could just say, I know that this sign is going to change this to its opposite, so it's going to become positive, and this is going to cause this to become negative. Now, this is simply 21x, and there's my addition sign. I don't bring down that subtraction sign. This is my operation sign. This is my operation sign. I bring those down. So now I'm going to combine like terms. 21x plus negative 7x is 14x, and I have a positive 16. You'll remember in class that positive 16 was a little tricky to come up with when we did it in class. B, negative 13n, that quantity, and from that we're going to take away 17 and a negative 5n. Because there was a subtraction inside of that parentheses, I want to change that to an addition. Remember, I want all my operations to be addition. So I'm going to take this sign and I'm going to change it, which makes this whole expression the opposite of whatever it shows here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assign the opposite sign to each term inside of the parentheses. So this becomes negative 17. And this, the opposite of negative 5n, is positive 5n. And I'm adding. And I'm adding. And I have a negative 13n. So now I'm going to combine like terms. I have a negative 13n plus a 5n. Those things are the same, so I'm just putting parentheses around them to show that they are similar, and I'm going to work with those together. Then I'm going to add a negative 17. I don't have any other constants in this expression. So a negative 13n plus a positive 5n is a negative 8n plus a negative 17. And that is my simplified expression when I subtract this expression from this one. Number 4. I have 2 expressions. Both of them have 2 terms. But the first thing I'm going to do is go through and change all of these subtractions, which changes the sign on the next number. I'm going to change this to a subtraction, which changes the sign outside the parentheses. This subtraction is changed to a plus, and it changes the sign on the next number. So now I've got everything as an addition. And now what I'm going to do is work with this. This negative is going to change all of these to their opposites. So I'm going to have a negative y plus the opposite of negative 7 is positive 7 plus 4y plus negative 7. So now I'm going to group my like terms together. I'm going to put my y's with my y's, and I have 4y plus a negative y, and then I'm going to add a negative 7 plus a positive 7. Well, I can see that this quantity is just 0. So when I have 0, unless it's a placeholder, I really don't even have to write it down. And a positive 4y and a negative y, that's a negative 1y, is going to be 3y. And that is my answer. Next one. This is not a subtraction sign, this is a negative w, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Here I'm going to change this to an addition, and I'm going to make this a negative, which is going to change all of these. Well, first I'll change that, which is then going to change all of these to their opposites. So the opposite of negative w is w. The opposite of negative 0 4/10 is positive 0 4/10. So negative w plus 0 4/10. I'm going to combine my like terms. And you can see that my w's are opposites. So I'm adding the inverse, which gives me a quantity of 0, which means there's nothing there. 4/10 plus 4/10 is 8/10.